Righto, we'll kick off this extraordinary meeting on Wednesday the 19th. If you want an acknowledgement of country, Council acknowledges the Wiradjuri people, the traditional custodians of land at which we meet here today, and we pay our respects to the elders both past and present of the Wiradjuri nation, and extend that respect to other Aboriginal people who are present. Apologies, there's Doug, got in touch with me a little while ago, Lee, Councillor Bowden, Councillor Phillips and Councillor Stewart. Moved Councillor Palmer, seconded Councillor Shane. Disclosure of interest, you're doing non-pecuniary disclosure. Right, we'll go on to the first. Phil, I'll let you handle it from here. I don't. Meeting this being Skype too, like a normal meeting, or being
recorded. Item 4.1.1 is a recommendation that council appoint one of its councillors to the board, which currently has a vacancy on the Cootamundra nursing home. Councillor Phillips has been in contact with the board, and the board has requested through a letter from Mr. Main that Councillor Phillips be part of that board structure.
Yeah, I've got to move. Yeah, Councillor Kelly, second, Councillor Graham, all in favour.
So item 4.2.1, I'll...
yeah, through the chair, I'd like to be excused because of a non-pecuniary interest.
Not a problem.
So I might refer you to Lesma to give a brief outline of what the report's all about.
Mr. Mayor, the issue we've got is that there has been for some time a feedlot operating as per the plans that I've got in front of you on Rosehill Road, and the DA was placed on public exhibition. There are a number of complaints regarding it, and so we've looked at it, and we've asked the applicant to reconsider the proposal. Now, the plans that are put in front of you, one is a blow-up, the white one is a blow-up of the aerial photograph. In the aerial photograph, you'll see a red diagonal line. On the right-hand side of that line, the land is zoned RU4, and on the left-hand side, it's RU1. Now, RU1, that's permissible to have a feedlot, and that's where it was proposed to put this feedlot up in the up in that bottom triangle of the RU1. However, there's a downhill slope that runs down to the houses. If you look across, say 11 o'clock on an angle, so the odour from that feedlot would roll down the hill in conditions of low wind, etc., and cause a problem. And that's where there's objections coming from, down in that bottom of the slope. So it's sort of to the top of the page. You can see houses there, and so what we're asking is if we can place that feedlot, and we've had a lot of discussions with the owner of the property, Mr. Clark, if we can place that feedlot over the hill so that it's both out of sight and it's further away from those houses, we believe that we can mitigate those odour problems that are being created at the moment and would be possibly created with the putting it in the correct zoning. So the dark blue that you can see on that plan are the ponds, the holding ponds, and if you look at the white copy, you can see at the bottom, you can see a couple of blue rectangles, and then there's a couple of blue squares next to that bottom pond, and that's where they're proposed to put the feedlot. So they're actually further away plus over the hill. There's a bit of a saddle between those two rises, you can see on your contour plan there. So we're trying to put it over the far hillside and just missing that saddle so that it doesn't, it's out of sight, as I say. The applicant is happy to plant trees. There are some trees shown there, but we would ask that they plant more along that ridge line to create more of a visual buffer, and also maybe to mitigate any smell that may come over there. The arc that you can see a black arc on that white copy that runs around. That's a line of about 860 metres to the main agitator or protester against this, the main objector. The houses are outside the guidelines from the EPA in terms of being outside the recommended distance, so that they are a reasonable distance away. To get this approved, not only do we need council support, obviously, but we would need to put this to the Department of Planning, because in an RU4 you can't have a feedlot. It's a prohibited use. So we would need to get that included in a special amendment just for that lot. And what our proposal was, that council is in the process of submitting a planning proposal to the department which seeks to amend the Cootamundra-Gundagai, or it's the Cootamundra Local Environment Plan, which is in 2013, which we still operate under at this point in time. So we're asking for the department to seek to amend it with a couple of planning proposals in this submission. And the other ones that you're familiar with are, there's one for Salt Clay Road, there's one for Backballen Road, there's one for Parker Street in Cootamundra, and one for Cooper Street. There's a Mitre 10 site, there's a property that burnt down and the lady wants to build a house there and she can't because it's the wrong zone. It's a bit of a mix-up, and we're just trying to tidy stuff, or council is intending to tidy stuff up, and they've already acknowledged those other ones that want to move forward, so we would want council's permission to submit this as well. And we think that this may well be a good compromise, which will lessen the impact of the existing operation on the local residents who are protesting. Not all of them are protesting. With the people who are on the downhill side to the right, as you're looking at that photograph, they're in support of the feedlot. So they're not necessarily objecting, and not necessarily all of those houses are objectors, but there are some.
Please, just a question. Is the proposal to rezone directly across that top block to RU4 and then all the land to the south of it RU1? Is that the proposal? The proposal,
through you, Mr. Mayor, the proposal is to bring it across where it says RU4 in that corner, bring it across to the lot boundary and down that orange line down the lot boundary. So it would be for just that lot. It wouldn't be for the whole zone.
Right.
What kind of numbers is talking like? Currently there at the moment. 650.
Yeah, the numbers that he's not intending, through you, Mr. Mayor, he's not intending to increase the numbers that he has at the moment. He's actually, he's been quite happy to work with council. We've asked him to withdraw the previous DA, which he's done, and we've explained to him this is the only way he's going to get it approved if he works with it, if council determines that, yes, they're comfortable with what's proposed, and if the Department of Planning agrees.
So you say he's not planning on increasing the numbers at the moment, and those neighbours are happy with that. What if was to go, and then if once it's approved, he's got the option then to double the numbers he's got now?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, No, he'd have, it would be permissible with consent. Now, he lodges a DA and council would put a restriction on as to numbers as a DA condition and restrict him to whatever his numbers are now, 650, and just restrict it to that.
There's other different requirements if you all of a sudden goes out to 1,000. The requirements are different.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not 100% sure on the EPA requirements with regards. I guess that's what you're asking, Councillor. Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think over 1,000 has to be signed off by the EPA. Up to 1,000 you can operate.
Through your discussion with all the various neighbours,
Through you, Mr. Mayor. That's a difficult question, Councillor, because some people are never satisfied. They're objecting to it being there and the fact that it's still there, albeit in a different location and out of sight. When they drive around the hill, they'll see it, they'll still complain. So I can't give that guarantee. All I can say is that this is trying to maintain a local business and to mitigate the impact on local objectors. It will be over the hill. It will be 850 metres away, and it will have a line of trees planted between it and the houses. And some of the people that are living there aren't objecting at the moment. I don't think we would get any more objectors. I think we would have less objectors, but I can't say that we'll have no objectors.
Yeah, through the Mayor, I think we have to consider that the objection at this stage is for the existing feedlot, whereas this is a totally new development application, a totally new feedlot located in an entirely different situation. So.
Dennis has got some questions I think he's going to ask. He gave me the heads up.